roll, which would have been a back air, which also would have reset the situation. So I think that the only thing that he really needed to like play around was the get up attack or an aerial from ledge, which I think Gyro covered both anyways. Gyro might not have covered get up attack just because get up attack would have hit the Gyro away. So yeah. Anyways, it looks like they're jumping right in, DM and Raffi. Are they? Dang, they are. Not even a break to talk about the match. Anyways, DM versus Raffi. Raffi, we just saw, we talked a lot about Rob, but just repeated for the VOD. Raffi, I think he needs to play at like a specific range to be able to whiff punish a lot of what Pikachu can do, but since it's specifically more Pikachu, who's a much more mobile character, it's going to be a bit harder of a range to like deal with, just because he has to worry about quick attack, as we see there. He has to worry a bit more about, say, an approaching aerial, even though that can kind of be baited out a bit more easily, and just in general, Pikachu's really good mobility. So DM's game plan, I think, is kind of the opposite. I think that he wants to get in really hard on Raffi and make it so he feels like super too pressured to really do anything, and basically force him to do options that would basically be really easy to call out. Unfortunately, I didn't see like the other set.
Yeah, DM, he was playing against a Rob earlier, right?
Yeah, he actually played Raffi earlier today. So he has already beaten him. So starting off, it's probably going to be up to Raffi to basically figure out what to do. Really nice edge guard. Covered a lot of, most of the options, I think, from both the going high and going low with the Thunder. Not sure what Raffi could have done there instead. This definitely seems, oh, that is going to KO. This definitely seems a lot harder for Rob than it is for Pika, just because since Rob, oh, sorry.
I was going to say, just I agree. Rob seems like it's a real disadvantage on this stage.
Yeah, it feels kind of like, in general, since Raffi kind of wants to play at that specific range outside of Pikachu, that he would be able to put on pressure while still not being in danger.
It's also a tough matchup just simply because of the size difference. It's like Pikachu's a lot shorter.
Yeah. On the flip side, though, DM can kind of just like abuse his speed in this matchup a lot more, so as a result, it's a lot easier for him to basically get in on Raffi as opposed to Raffi trying to keep out DM. I think that while he wants to keep that position, in practice he'll probably be scrapping a lot more, and Raffi, in order to win, needs to win a lot more of these scraps. So yeah. If anything, he's been keeping it super even right now anyways, so that's very nice of him.
Ooh, nice.
That is going to KO. Pikachu, very light, not going to survive to something like that. DM, I've noticed he's been approaching a lot with aerials. I think that Raffi could kind of call that out a bit more with, say, an up tilt, or, oh, that's very nice. An up tilt, or like some other grounded anti-air on Rob. I'm not entirely sure what else the character has. That's a lot less damage than I was expecting from Pikachu. I guess that's just because moves do a lot less damage.
I'm just getting tired of it sitting in my leg.
It's cool. But yeah, I think that what Raffi doing right now is honestly just really good. Waiting out for DM to throw out those aerials out of shield, waiting for him to basically throw out those aerials in general, and just kind of punishing him as a result for that. On the flip side, though, this is definitely like still. Oh, that is going to kill. So Raffi takes game 1. So I think that in order for DM to adapt, I think that he needs to slow down his game plan a bit more. I think that the general aggression is the good idea, but I think that he should work on his defense specifically, because I've noticed that he's been just throwing out aerials almost every time that his shield is hit, and Raffi's been just baiting out all of it, like, I guess pressuring him. Not pressuring him, but like baiting out them all and just punishing him for it.
We'll see what happens now. So they've been playing quite a bit today. So it's also it's never. I imagine it's never easy at the end of a tournament too. So everybody's tired and.
Tournament fatigue is such a real thing, dude. Like, props to them for making this far.
Yeah.
Though if anything, I've noticed that it tends to be a bit more noticeable after the tournament than during. But anyways, in general, this has just been a really good stock from DM. He's just kind of been putting on a lot of heavy pressure on Raffi, and because of that, DM's weak spots actually aren't showing as much, because since he's always got advantage, his biggest habit of jumping out of shield with an aerial is actually like kind of being mitigated by not coming up as often as Raffi would hope it would.
Yeah, both of these characters have extremely good recoveries. So.
Yeah, in general, you're like very unlikely to edge guard Pikachu. You kind of just need to call out the up B super, I wouldn't say super hard, but kind of hard. And Rob doesn't really have the long-lasting hitboxes that I'd imagine that he would need to do so. Oh my god, that call out.
That looks painful.
But yeah, I'd imagine Rob doesn't really have the lasting hitboxes that Pikachu does, since we actually saw a lot of, I believe it was back air edge guards from DM, as that is the Pikachu spinning.
So using, yeah, Raffi's it's kind of a,
I did not know what happened there.
I don't know, he was doing, he was kind of almost spamming his down B. He's like became super predictable there for a minute.
I think that was a neutral air. I just called him out.
Yeah, I'm not.
Oh my god!
Whoa.
DM is a monster. Just a really quick 0 to death that just gives him advantage again. Not going to be able to convert there, just not exactly enough distance on Pikachu to reach Rob in that position. Honestly, I kind of want to see a bit more of the positional pressure from DM, because I think it would be still really good on his play and it would fit in really well. But like, the reason that he isn't, I haven't really been noticing much, as whenever he goes for an aerial on shield, he doesn't wait for like an option for Raffi to go for, or like, okay. I guess DM just like tells me to shut up. Pretty dominating 2-stock.
Yeah, he saved. See, that's what you got to do with those special moves there.
Yeah.
It's like you gotta use them at right when they least expect them.
Basically, yeah. But even then, in that situation, Raffi was kind of trapped in the air, so he was still in disadvantage. I just think that it was still like a bit of a call out on Raffi's positioning to use Thunder there, considering how laggy and how kind of telegraphed it is. But at the same time, it's still probably like what DM wants, since he wants to try and like push for the kill at that position. Especially since it's a lot less risk since he had a stock to play with.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point.
Anyways, going to Kalos game 3. Raffi definitely wants this so that he can just like... Oh my god! So he can just down tilt DM to oblivion apparently.
Throw from Raffi.
Yeah, so I think that Raffi in general just wants this so that he has a bit more space to retreat from Pikachu's pressure, as well as because he wants a bit more of that survivability. Kalos being one of the biggest stages in the game, Blast Zone-wise, is definitely something that will aid him a lot in that regard. And at the same time, since he has a lot more room to retreat, as we're seeing a lot here, like, it's a lot rougher for DM to like get in without being baited out, especially since he is still like using a lot of aerial pressure. And then with Raffi, it's like, since he has that extra space to move back, and since he actually makes DM's approaches a lot more predictable on a stage like this, since there aren't any platforms for him to mix up with, in general, he's just able to abuse Pikachu a lot more, which I think is probably one of the better things for his character, considering in this position it's going to be, it's going to be pretty hard for Pikachu to KO without an edge guard, and Raffi can kind of just box him out off stage, like, anytime that DM tries to go out there and hit him with an aerial. Just as we were kind of seeing, even with DM getting those aerials, that wasn't enough to KO, and that was giving Raffi enough of a chance to actually respond to DM's pressure off stage. On the flip side, though, that doesn't stop the fact that Pikachu's edge guarding on Rob seems to be pretty insane. Like, Pikachu seems to have the aerial... Oh! I was so hoping that Thunder would hit. But it seems that Pikachu just, in general, has the aerial mobility and the long-lasting hitboxes that he kind of needs in order to edgeguard Rob really strongly. And in that regard, it's like, I guess it's just really threatening for Raffi, so threatening that he had to go super high there in order to try and mix up his recovery super hard. But if anything, Raffi is still... What am I saying? I was gonna say, if anything, DM has managed to bring this back, but he's, like, winning. Anyways. One thing I want to see a bit more from DM in this position, as I mentioned before, is that I want him to slow down in his pressure a little bit more, because Raffi is, like, abusing that even more thanks to the stage decision. I think that Raffi's strengths as a player are coming out a lot more than they in this game than they did in the last game, just because he's able to basically box a lot better. He's able to basically just feel like he has a lot of space to work with and retreat whenever he feels any pressure, which works out super well for him in the situation. It seems Raffi is also going a lot more on the aggressive now, since he has a lot of a stock to play for, and is he going to do something here? Nah. Unable to capitalize off of DM going into disadvantage there. But we're seeing a lot of jump back gyros from Raffi, and I think in general just his pressure, like, I guess I'd say that his projectile game has been a lot more solid in this game than in the past games. Oh my god, the snipe! Not enough to KO though. But still a really bad position for DM. Basically forced to go super low because of their side B, and as a result, just like, even if the kill stream didn't kill, we still got it, and it still like ended up being a kill. So
yeah, it was a different way to end a game.
Yeah.
See, Raffi been missing lasers most of the match, but right at the end, just came in.
Just in general, just like, I feel like in that situation, are we seeing a trainer switch? I think we might be seeing a trainer switch. Oh, we're going back with Pikachu on Kalos. Interesting. Interesting decision. I feel like the stage choice in general benefited Rob a lot more than it did for Pikachu. I guess one thing that I want to see from DM is I want to see him... Honestly, with how good his pressure is, I want him to basically threaten Raffi a lot more with basically just positioning. So basically, rather than having the constant aerial pressure and his just like hitbox pressure in general and pressing a lot of buttons, if he like, since Raffi knows the kind of pressure that DM can do, I think that if DM slowed it down, specifically when he's right on shield, then he can force Raffi into doing something disadvantageous for him a lot more, and as a result, it can, I think, lead to a lot more percent than he's been getting, especially since he has to deal with edgeguarding like this, now that Raffi has adapted a lot to how to edgeguard Pika in this matchup. That is going to not KO. This stage is big, but that is definitely going to KO. Raffi up a stock. I think Raffi is just like playing the same game plan that he has. It's going out really well for him. I think that's just the pressure of gyro where it is I actually really, really like the gyro there. It kind of forced DM to stay in, and since Raffi has a good read on what DM's like approaching habits are and what his pressure habits are, he was able to basically force DM into doing that and then able to take the stocks off of him.
Smart use of gyro there. So.
Yeah. Raffi is gonna be dead there.
Nope. Oh, yep.
Yeah, it was start KO already. Oh, that was some pretty good damage, and now it's basically even now. Saibi gonna reset the situation, though Raffi kind of overcommitted hard. I think that DM can definitely take a lot of advantage of the fact that Raffi did commit hard there, though he didn't really. Just because when DM is like putting on pressure on a defensive Raffi that's kind of a neutral, then it's a lot harder for him to get on that pressure because of his aerials. But whenever he's putting on pressure on Raffi at disadvantage, then that's, I think, where his strongest suits are right now. Because, oh, the down tilt frame trap pressure. Can't jump out of it without just dying. And by dying, I mean just getting hit by a down tilt, which isn't even that bad unless it trips. DM, in order to come back, I think he needs to start, like, he needs to play this a lot slower than he has, because by putting on this pressure without really changing up his game plan all that much, Raffi has just kind of tacked on so much percent and is, like, almost at kill percent even. Also, down tilt pressure isn't even real. Right now, I'd say that with how Raffi has been adapting, I'm not even sure if I'd want DM to like overextend on his edge guarding a little bit more, because even though he might be able to make it back, he also might not, just because of how deep he has to go in order to catch Raffi. Plus, at the same time, it seems like something that Raffi can react to based on positioning rather than actually edge guarding. So I think I'd want to see a bit more emphasis on ledge trapping, but it doesn't matter because that's going to be the stock and that's going to be the set.
Oh my god, the screaming out there.